Ponytails. Read by Scribbler.
I don't care what y'all think is best for me. I care what's best for him, and that's being with family.
Jonagold Apple's eyes flicked open at the sound of an argument out in the hallway.
You're darned right, he's a mess.
Jonagold smiled, despite the agony it caused him. He knew that voice.
But he's my son. I'm sure I've seen worse than that.
The doctors' voices were low and muted.
I don't care what he wants, neither. He's trying to be all noble, dying alone in there. Well, I ain't gonna stand for it, or sit for it, neither.
After a few more seconds, the doors opened and Granny Smith strode through confidently before stopping abruptly at the sight of him. Jonagold tilted his head, trying to look down at himself. He couldn't see much. Ruddy bandages covered his torso, and the blue magic that Dr. What's-His-Name was still pouring over his chest made it hard to see much further. Still, he knew that his hind legs should be sticking up there the way he was lying. The fact that he couldn't see them would have sent shudders down through his body before, but it didn't seem quite so important now compared to the rest of it.
I thought I told the doctors to make y'all swear on your hats not to come see me like this.
Jonagold said.
I don't wear no hat nohow, so it ain't like I've got much to lose.
Granny Smith ambled over to his bedside.
Now, what do you have to say for yourself, letting a tree fall on you like that?
Just a darn fool, I guess.
Granny Smith glanced at the doctor sitting at his bedside.
Ain't there a thing you can do for that?
The white unicorn shook his head, a drop of sweat running down his forehead as his horn burned with magic.
Sorry, ma'am. I'm doing everything I can.
It's all right. Only hurts when I breathe.
Granny Smith's eyes softened as she reached out to touch his mangled hoof with her own.
I'm sorry.
Jonagold wheezed.
You ain't got nothing to apologize for. It's old Wormwood who should be apologizing to me. Trying to fall on my wife. It ain't right after all I did for him.
Oh, he'll be apologizing all winter, I expect, when we chop him up for firewood.
Granny Smith sighed.
So, that's the way of it. He was falling over onto that pretty young thing that caught your eye, and you just had to make sure you were under him too?
Jonagold shuddered, his mouth working.
My wife's okay, ain't she?
Granny Smith sighed again.
Valencia didn't get laid up in the hospital, if and that's what you're asking. But she ain't exactly in a state to come see you neither.
Jonagold slumped back.
That's all I wanted.
All you wanted? What about seeing your children grow up?
Granny Smith asked sharply. He raised his hoof weakly.
Don't mean it like that. Besides, if I'd let it fall on her, I'd have ended up in here anyway after you had at me for letting her get hurt.
Granny Smith cackled.
Darn tootin'!
It ain't so bad. I got some good years in me.
You're 30.
Still, 30 good ones. And it ain't such a bad way to go, saving my little orange.
Valencia weighs twice what you do, you galoot!
Jonagold chuckled again, but the sound quickly turned into coughing as Granny Smith leaned forward and gripped his hoof tightly.
Hurts.
He finally managed.
I bet it does.
Granny Smith smiled softly, a tear trickling down her cheek.
Your kids are out there in the hallway. You sure you don't want them here?
Just ain't right, kids seeing something like this. They know I love them. They can figure out the rest when they're older. Ain't like they don't got a couple of mighty fine mares to raise 'em right.
I was hoping for a mighty fine stallion to be helping.
I kinda was too. But that ain't the way things worked out.
Jonagold coughed again, wheezing as he desperately tried to refill his lungs.
Sorry. I don't think I'm gonna make it much longer.
Granny Smith squeezed his hoof.
Anything else you wanted to say to me, boy?
Jonagold shook his head slightly before he stopped.
It weren't Paul who stole all the Zap Apple jam.
Guess I'll just have to tan your hide for lying to me.
Granny Smith said, smiling.
Afraid there's not enough for that. Probably got too many holes to make a good bag anyhow.
Probably.
She looked down at his bandaged body, then back into his eyes.
I'll miss you.
I'll miss you too, Ma. Take good care of Jack, Blue, and Mac for me, will you?
Granny chuckled.
And not your wife?
Jonagold shook his head, swallowing slowly.
If it ever got out I didn't think she could take care of herself, she'd kill me.
Bit late for that.
Jonagold tried to laugh, but the sound stuck in his throat. He tried to swallow, but his throat was clamped shut. His apple bobbed as he looked over at the doctor, the glow around the unicorn's horn fading. Shuddering, he reached out with his hoof to touch his mother's face, as she slowly caressed his cheek with her hoof, before he slumped back into the pillows.
I'm sorry.
'Twarn't your fault. You did the best you could.
Granny Smith sighed, shaking her head slowly down at her son as she blinked away the tears.
Have you made arrangements?
For Valencia, expect it won't be too hard for them to dig another hole for him right next to her.